Today we're talking about the ultimate Sigma male grind set. First of all, what is a Sigma male? Long and short of it, it's a meme. Basically, it just means a highly successful and very independent man. So determined to achieve success that he's willing to forego any of his relationships for such success. And the Sigma male grind set, first of all, grind set is a combination of the word grind, as in like working hard, putting your nose to the grindstone, and mindset. So put it all together, Sigma male grind set. So here are the 7 principles of having a healthy Sigma male grind set. Principle number 1, know your why. Inevitably, you're going to hit a hard point in this journey. Like, it's just bound to happen. And if you don't have a solid reason in your mind, or solid multiple reasons, layers of reasons in your mind as to why you're doing what you're doing, the odds of you continuing on the journey are really low. So it's just super important to be constantly reminding ourselves, why are we doing it? Read Visioneering by Andy Stanley. It will help you to sit down and think about the vision for your life, for what your life will look like in the future. It's just a good exercise in figuring out what that looks like for you and how to actually go about doing it. Principle number 2, sleep, nutrition, and exercise. This Sigma male grind set thing on the interwebs is very often associated with Patrick Bateman, a character played by Christian Bale. And the core character trait, other than he is an emotionless, bitter psychopath, is his physical fitness. However, this isn't just for our vanity. It's not just for our ego. It's not just to give us confidence, which being physically fit certainly does do. It's also just to keep our mind sharp. The better sleep you get, the better food you eat, and the more exercise you get in a day, week, month, the more efficiently your mind and body will operate. You'll just have better memory, you'll have better focus, you'll have better clarity, you'll feel better, you'll have more energy, you'll be stronger. There are literally limitless reasons as to why to exercise, get enough sleep, and eat properly. And there's only one legitimate reason as to not do it, and it's pure and simple laziness. Don't feel like it, don't want to. That's it. That's the only reason. Principle number 3, don't actually be a lone wolf. The Sigma male, so I guess the structure of it is supposed to be like the structure of like the wolf hierarchy. So there's like the beta, then alpha, and then like the Sigma is supposed to be like the superior, the rarest form of all males, the Sigma male. And he's stronger and smarter than all the other wolves. That's why he's alone. We are social creatures by nature. So being 100% alone will actually detract from whatever it is we're trying to achieve, because it's only going to make us lonely, more likely to get depressed, anxious, and lazy. What helps us to stay consistent with any sort of self-improvement initiative, whether is accountability. It took me 6 years approximately before I learned how to stay consistent with working out, but it wasn't until I had a workout partner that I was able to unlock that ability. So we would wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, stupid early. I'd never woken up that early in my entire life, other than maybe for like an airplane, right? So I did this for about 2 months straight. And after that 2-month point, it just sort of became a habit. It wasn't something I really needed to think about anymore. The momentum had already been built. And the momentum had been built because there was someone counting on me to be there with them. So the likelihood that you're just gonna jump straight out of bed at 4 in the morning for yourself, I don't know, unless you're like a masochist or a sadist, it's not likely that you're gonna do that. So accountability is super important. However, like I said in a previous video, making sure that your circle is small and that you're really monitoring who is in your circle is super important. We're trying to minimize the amount of time we're spending with normies. Principle number 4, work in silence. Working in silence, all that means is having a goal or goals, have a step-by-step plan on how to get them, and just start working on them. Do not blurt out your goals to anybody unless it's a mentor or someone who is actually going to hold you accountable towards these goals. Because what generally happens is you blurt out your goals, you get that dopamine spike, and then you lose any sort of motivation or drive to actually accomplish those goals. What else it does is it just reinforces people's disbelief in you. I'm gonna do this. No, don't follow through. You're reinforcing that expectation of, well, he doesn't actually mean what he says. So don't do that. That's what I did for the longest time. I would tell everyone, hey, I wanna do this, I'm gonna do this. That would immediately destroy any sort of motivation I had to do it. I wouldn't pursue it. So then after that point, people were less and less likely to believe that I was going to actually do this thing. So that's why it is now a motto of mine to just work in silence. Principle number 5, push yourself to the absolute limits and then scale it back for sustainability. So this is a concept that Jordan Peterson talks about. He talks about it in his second appearance on the Modern Wisdom podcast. But in this podcast, I just remember he was talking about how he got sick, like really, really deathly ill, and he thinks it's because he was working too hard. As he often does, he goes into tangents and was asking himself, well, was I actually working too hard? And that is hard to determine. The advice he kind of gives on that front is to push yourself to the absolute limit and scale it back for sustainability. Yeah, you won't know what that point is until you actually push yourself to that point. So this is kind of what I've done, and you can sort of see this process throughout my YouTube channel. Like, I have a video called Money Mouth Productions episode 2 where I basically talk about how I burnt out. I was doing way too much, way too fast. I was really way over ambitious. So I can safely say that I hit that 100% point and that I was able to scale it back a little bit so that I can do it more sustainably. And since then, I've actually been able to build up from there. So I'm only getting more efficient as time goes on. I started making one YouTube video a month to one YouTube video a week to now 2 videos a week. But yeah, you only get more and more efficient as time goes on, as long as you're riding on that 80% edge. You're constantly pushing the boundaries of what you can do and how much you can do and how efficient you can be. So don't give yourself the excuse. Find what that 100% border is, scale it back, and then continue pushing forward. Principle number 6. Alex Hormozi's 3 characteristics of uber successful people. These characteristics are a superiority complex, massive insecurity, and impulse control, or the ability to delay gratification. Why are these characteristics important? 1, superiority complex. It's important because you need to believe you can actually achieve the things that you want. You need to be able to believe that you can actually acquire those things, and not only acquire them, but that you deserve them. You also must have a heaping dose of insecurity as well, because, well, you need to know that you can't just acquire these things, but you need to actually improve yourself and get better and learn in order to acquire these things. And the third is impulse control, because unless you have the ability to delay gratification, unless you have the ability to actually stick with something, you're probably not going to stay on the path, and you're probably going to give up pretty easily, because the easier, softer way, more often than not, tends to lead to destruction in the long run. Principle number 7, go to church. Why go to church? Well, number 1, you'll be able to build a pretty decent community of people who genuinely will have your best interest in heart. And that's simply just really difficult, if not impossible, to find in the realm of the normie, which is kind of just like everyday life. Also, it provides a good narrative, it provides a good moral framework for you so that you're not constantly trying to figure out for yourself what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. Part of the whole Sigma male grind set thing is the superiority complex, and I would be lying if I said that I personally wasn't driven by ego. I definitely am driven by ego, so I kind of rely on this framework for moral decision making. I kind of use it as like a decision making algorithm. Alright y'all, so those were the 7 principles of how to have a healthy Sigma male grind set. Do with them as you will. Hopefully they will help you to develop into the most superiorist Sigma male version of yourself possible. Alright y'all, thank you so much for watching, and have an absolutely fantastic day.